A lawmaker believes that the clash between the Moro National Liberation Front and the Abu Sayyaf group in Sulu is beneficial to the government's peace and security efforts, but says it has a negative impact on the Muslim community. Joyce Ilas tells us why.
House Muslim Affairs Committee Chairman Tupay Loong believes the Moro National Liberation Front's attack against the Abu Sayyaf group in Patikul Sulu will have a positive effect on the government's peace and security efforts. The MNLF attacked the Abu Sayyaf's camp on Sunday to rescue the hostages after negotiations with the bandit group to free its captives failed.
Kidnapping is one of the most heinous crime that can discourage foreign investors to come to our country.
Loong, Sulu's representative, says the MNLF's move is a clear manifestation of the group's commitment to resolve its differences with the national government.
That is a very clear manifestation on the part of the MNLF, their desire to help the government.
He explains the fact that the government did not stop MNLF's attack is a clear message it is silently supporting the group's action. Loong did say, though, that the clash between the two armed groups will have serious repercussions to the Muslim civilians in the autonomous region in Muslim Mindanao. Because of this, Loong calls on the government to ensure the safety of innocent civilians. More than 1,500 families have already been displaced since the attack on Sunday. House Committee on National Defense and Security Chairman Rodolfo Biazon, in the meantime, says the MNLF's attack against the Abu Sayyaf may be politically motivated. MNLF's Chairman Nur Miswari is running for governor in the ARMM election.
One factor here is the possibility that politics in the ARM may be a factor. Anything that that occurs now, at the onset of political struggles, can happen. Anything is possible.
Biazon calls on the government to verify all the information coming from the MNLF.
So we need the government, through its own channels, must be able to confirm this. Because so far, all the reports are coming from the MNLF and not from the government.
The lawmaker also says the Organization of Muslim Religious Leaders should now intervene in the clash between the MNLF and Abu Sayyaf to protect innocent civilians. Joyce Ilas, Solar News.
The Justice Department recommended the release of 18 suspected members of the Abu Sayyaf group who were arrested for the abduction of 6 members of the Jehovah's Witnesses in 2002. 13 of the accused were recommended for release as they were not the same persons charged, while the other 5 lacked probable cause. On October 19 last year, the prosecution moved for a thorough reinvestigation of the case. This move came after the Justice Department received complaints of indiscriminate arrests. Malacanang says President Aquino approved a plan to extract the USS Guardian from the Tubataha Reef. Communications Secretary Ricky Carandang says the president approved the plan presented to him yesterday and did not suggest any revisions. Carandang adds the salvage plan will follow a general timeline, although he could not specify when the U.S. Navy ship will be completely removed from the Marine Sanctuary. The Tubataha Management Office assures the public that diving season in the UNESCO World Heritage Site will push through this year, despite the ongoing salvage operations for the USS Guardian, which is expected to drag on until summer. David Santos has details.
It's the only time of the year when both specialized and recreational divers get the rare opportunity to explore the grandeur of the Tubataha Reef. The diving season in the world-famous marine park starts in mid-March and will last until early June. During this period, the sea conditions are more calm and thus conducive to open sea diving. A package of up to 5 days of diving sessions now costs up to 80,000 pesos per diver. Aside from the expensive diving gears, those who intend to see the UNESCO-declared World Heritage Site are at least required to have a professional diving license. Thus, only a few can actually avail of the services to dive in the Tubataha.
The tourists that are coming already booked last year pa. So that they're well booked in advance. So these people expect to enjoy the park in its full. Darating sila, nakabayad na sila eh. They'll all be here. Unfortunately, we will not be able to offer them the fullness of the Tubataha Reefs. And so it will affect tourism experience.
The recent grounding of the USS Guardian will somehow alter the so-called Tubataha experience since diving in the reef began in the late 70s. The marine park is divided into the North and South Atoll and is marked with 15 diving sites. At least 2 sites located within the area where the retrieval efforts are concentrated will have to be closed. Both dive operators and authorities supervising the salvage operations have expressed concerns with the opening of the diving season.
Kasi dangerous. Siyempre, ayaw mo nang malapit sa mga heavy equipment and all that. And the sound, which travels really, really fast underwater, baka maapektuhan yung mga divers. And tumataas yung risk eh. Diba? Kasi merong work na nangyayari.
Yun nga yung magiging problema namin later on. Kasi we feel na once the diving season starts, a lot of divers will try to get closer dun sa vessel. And we will cordon yung area para magkakaroon kami ng police line dyan na hindi pwedeng pumasok.
According to local dive shop operators, clients who have made advanced reservations have not backed out despite the USS Guardian grounding. In fact, they're even expecting a slight increase of divers coming to the Tubataha this year, thanks to all the media attention the marine park has been getting due to the incident. The Provincial Tourism Office says while the Tubataha incident has no immediate impact on tourists coming to the reef, the effects may be felt in the long run.
We will feel that if, for example, bookings are canceled, no? Ang sa atin namang pagkakaalam, there are no cancellations yet. But the impact there would really be in the biodiversity, in the environment itself. No? Una-una, sabi natin, Palawan is a natural destination. Pag sira ang ating kalikasan, sira ang ating environment, baka wala nang pumunta.
More than 1,500 tourists went diving in Tubataha in 2012. Almost 90% of this number were foreigners. Still, this figure is just a tiny fraction of the more than 800,000 foreign and domestic tourists that came to Palawan last year. The local government remains optimistic tourists will continue to pour in as the island province has so much to offer. It admits, though, that nothing can ever replace a natural wonder like that of the Tubataha Reef. David Santos, Solar News, Puerto Princesa City.
Malacanang expects the country's ties with the United States to remain strong after the appointment of John Kerry as the new U.S. Secretary of State. Kerry replaces Hillary Clinton, who had a good relationship with President Aquino. Presidential Communications Secretary Ricky Carandang welcomes Kerry's appointment, saying that the former U.S. Senator is familiar with Philippine foreign affairs officials. President Aquino visited the vote-rich province of Cavite and pitched to voters Liberal Party-led administration candidates running for national and local positions. He also warned Caviteños against politicians pretending to be allied with his administration. Ina Andolong tells us more.
Choose your candidates well and be wary of those pretending to be allied with the administration. The president gave this advice to voters in Cavite during his speech at a Liberal Party-organized event in the province. President Aquino warned against candidates falsely claiming to be supportive of his programs.
Paalala lamang po, asahan na po ninyong may mga nagpapanggap at may mga nakikisakay di umano sa ating krusada. May mga nakikisuot ng kulay dilaw, pero hindi tiyak kung anong kulay ang nasa loobin.
President Aquino even took a swipe at a politician known to portray a character with amulets.
Huwag po tayong umasa sa tsamba. O sa agimat o anting-anting.
President Aquino has continuously endorsed LP senatorial candidates whom he says are necessary to sustain his reforms, including major infrastructure projects in Cavite. But on his second visit to Cavite in 5 months, he made sure to push for LP's local candidates who are facing a tight race against several re-electionists. Senator Panfilo Lacson attended the event, to support his son Jay, who's running for vice governor under LP. He too got a special mention from the president.
Yung hinihintay ho namin na sumama sa amin sa executive, Senator Panfilo Lacson.
The public can expect a more visible president with the campaign period for national elections set to begin next week. While the chief executive won't be joining all LP campaign sorties, Malacanang says President Aquino will be active enough to deliver his message.
It's very important for us that, from a governance point of view, that the Senate slate that's chosen by the President, Team Pinoy, wins in this election. We have a challenging 3 years ahead of us. We have not finished all the work that we have sought out to do.
To kick off LP's campaign next week, President Aquino will attend the party's opening activities at the historic Plaza Miranda. Ina Andolong, Solar News.
Senator Franklin Drilon, the campaign manager of the Liberal Party, says the administration coalition is working on an election landslide, clinching all 12 senatorial seats in the midterm polls. Drilon says the whole slate is confident that President Aquino's support will be translated into electoral victory. Drilon says the three common candidates, Senators Francis Escudero and Loren Legarda, and former Movie and Television Review Classification Board Chair Grace Poe, will attend the LP's proclamation rally on February 12 at Plaza Miranda. In April last year, three political parties joined forces under one name, forming a coalition presented as the Aquino administration's constructive opposition. In day 94 of Inform in 100, Joyce Ilas takes a closer look at the United Nationalist Alliance.
They are not the administration, but they are hardly the opposition. They are the self-styled, quote, constructive opposition. The United Nationalist Alliance is a merger of Vice President Jejo Marbinay's PDP Laban and former President Joseph Estrada's Puwersa ng Masang Pilipino. UNA was formed in April 2012, believed to be Binay's political vehicle when he runs for president in 2016.
In the first place, mataas din naman ang aking survey. Lalo na pag pinagsama mo yung survey ni Jojo Binay at saka ni Senator Rillo at saka ni President Erap. Paano yung mga UNA leaders?
Binay, Estrada, and PMP's Chairman Emeritus Senate President Juan Ponce Enrile round up UNA's powerhouse triumvirate, more popularly known as the Coalition's Three Kings. Together, their endorsement of UNA senatorial candidates is expected to send more coalition senatorial bets to the Magic 12. That is a political endorsement which the coalition believes is far more influential than that of President Aquino.
Importante po na itong mga kandidato na isinusulong niya sa 2013 na magiging kasama niya sa loob ng 6 na taon na siya ay magiging Pangulo.
UNA's senatorial lineup is dominated by veteran politicians and the children of veteran politicians. Initially, though, UNA had a hard time completing its senatorial lineup, resulting in the adoption of 3 guest candidates: incumbent Senators Francis Escudero and Loren Legarda, and former Movie and Television Review and Classification Board Chairman Grace Poe. Escudero and Legarda are the consistent frontrunners in the 2013 elections based on surveys released since the early part of 2012. Poe is the daughter of a close friend and political ally of UNA's Three Kings, the late Fernando Poe Jr. The children of UNA's Three Kings are also running for senators: Cagayan Representative Juan Ponce Enrile Jr., San Juan Representative J.V. Ejercito Estrada, and Nancy Binay. 2 allies of former President and now Pampanga Representative Gloria Macapagal Arroyo are also running under UNA.